TV on channel 224 Sky Cable and TV Plus boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Informing, advising, and entertaining the Filipinos and OFWs around the world. Streaming live on www.facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. or on YouTube, channel RJAM News. To all Teleradio Bandido viewers and listeners, you can now watch Teleradio Bandido on our new YouTube channel, RJAM News. Hit the subscribe button and like the video. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified when a new video gets uploaded. Don't miss out on our dynamite lineup. Revolutions Per Minute with host Marilyn Craig and guest co-host future Dr. Zoe will revolutionize your life. Spend lunch with them every Saturday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. This is your Love Life Teleradio with interviews with people from all walks of lives, as well as personalities, with stories that enlighten and inspire. So catch RPM on Teleradio Bandido, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, free-to-air Channel 29, DZRJ 8:10 a.m., Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m., and YouTube channel RJAM News.
So we are on. Hello, everyone. Happy noontime. Yes, this is Marlene Craig for RPM Revolutions Per Minute again, accelerating your Saturday noontime. And on my right is
me, future Zoe, her daughter, also known as future Dr. Zoe. And today we have again our wonderful guest,
our debonair host of RJAM News. Where am I, Zoe? All right. Okay, we have Eric Lacane of JAM News every Sunday to participate because we need a man to give us the tips on dating for women.
Oh, Mary needs a man.
Before that, let's hear from Eric.
I'm sorry, I'm just a little blinded by Marilyn's lipstick. Ooh, it's pink.
Oh. Pink.
Hang on a second. Let me get some sunglasses on.
Fuchsia.
Oh, fuchsia. Oh, my mistake. Fuchsia.
Can you see the background? I'm just trying to do a
She's
good...
matching the pillows.
Matching the pillows.
You're matching the pillows, yes.
All righty. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you are, if you are in your tuner, that's 810 AM, DCRJ. And of course, if you want to see us live, we are on www.facebook.com/DCRJ 810 AM. And of course, please subscribe on us on YouTube. It's RJAM News.
Very good.
All right. So let's shoot it away. We have very interesting for all those singles or who want to be singles.
Now, just really quick. So, Marlon, you can hear my voice?
Yes. Very
okay.
Clear.
All right, good.
All righty. So what's that hanging over there that look like...
It's a boat.
Oh, it's a boat.
I am out to sea today.
All right.
Yes, I would be. I'm actually out on the ocean right now, on site. So this is why you see the ocean. See the ocean.
I thought there was something, a basket hanging in there with fruits. Anyway, so let's shoot it away. Eric, we have 15 unspoken rules of dating.
Oh my goodness.
As I've said earlier, I've written down also, it would be much easier, isn't it, if we just be upfront of our expectations. Hey, guy, I want to date you because I'm interested in you. We wish that we have all our expectations upfront so we don't have to pretend.
Okay. But I'm waiting for the period. Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, of course, especially with romantic dates, But again, they said there are certain etiquettes. So let's start with wearing the right attire, Zoe. Eric, did you ever date with the wrong attire?
Well, wearing wrong attire is part of my whole life, my whole being. Although I have to say, if I was dating Zoe and she wore that shirt, I would be like, yes.
My Squirtle shirt.
I love that shirt.
You see, there's some people who go on a date, they dress to kill. It's an overkill dress.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually part of it. I mean, especially if you're a woman and you're going on a date with a guy, you got to wear the guy, because that means you're going to have to do a little bit of research. You're going to have to know the guy a little bit, because some guys, if you show up with a sexy outfit that's low cut and really short shorts, he's not going to like that. It's going to embarrass him to take you to a nice restaurant. Whereas, some guys, they love that. If you're, especially if you're dating like an old American who's 65 and you're 18, he wants you to show up with something sexy. That's part of the reason why he's dating you. But, here again, some guys, they'd rather have you wear what Zoe's wearing, and just go hang out, and that's great. So it's good to, I think, know ahead of time sort of what he's expecting. And some guys like, a nice business attire. That's like for them, that's great. They want to see a woman in horn brim glasses, especially if you like dating those mathematicians. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I think. Now, as far as guys go, just anything that's new looks good. You know what I'm saying?
Men have to I think women would just appreciate if men look clean,
Yeah. And smell clean.
Yeah. Here's the thing is, no guy can iron a shirt. So you need to buy a new shirt. So anything that's new, though, on a guy looks good. Even if it's just a t-shirt or whatever. If it's brand new, just from experience, guys out there, just remember, check all over the outfit for tags.
Oh, yeah. Might be hanging still there.
You don't want to get in that awkward situation where she has to reach over and go, "Hey, let me just get that," and just pulls the tag off. Because the mistake you may make is the price may be on it, and she might know that you got it for like, half off, and then she's like, not worth that much because you only paid half off for your shirt. But anyway, so that's what, that's my advice on what to wear.
I think for me, Zoe, I will ask the guy where he's going to bring me, whether it's going to be the Peninsula or it's a 5-star dining place. Because, I mean, I don't want to be going in my shorts or sexy.
You and sexy shorts, Mom. I don't think we should wear that outfit anymore.
That's why. Because the trend now is to wear a nice formal blouse with a super sexy shorts anywhere nowadays, So I think I will ask the guy where he's bringing me and what clothes should I wear and what is he wearing to match him. I'm not going to wear same clothes like him, but match, whether is it business, cocktail look, or casual.
I don't know in what situation that you and I, Marilyn, should ever wear sexy clothes ever. But I guess we can make that decision at the right point. But yeah, I mean, that is true at the utmost level sometimes when you know where you're going. Because like I said, if you're like Marilyn and you think you got a guy that's going to take you to the Peninsula Hotel for dinner, you got to dress to be in that place. And because if you are not, then you will definitely stick out and people will look at you as you walk by, as you always do when you walk in the Peninsula Hotel and you walk in that front door and everybody turns around and goes, "Oh, okay." Everybody look, because everybody's right there. They're all right there, like, at the front door. That's where all the chairs are. So everybody's going to turn around and look at you. So
you don't want anybody or everybody's going in an OMG. You could even see the pronunciation of the OMG in their mouth.
You don't want
I guess it depends. Maybe you want the OMG reaction, you never know.
well, some people do, but mostly you don't want the OMG to the guy. So if a guy walks in there and he's got a girl who's not dressed right, everybody's going to look at him and going, where did he pick that hooker up? And you don't want to be known as that. So anyway, so there's and it's tricky. It's a fine line because we're in the Philippines and it's hot, and so a lot of people wear shorts and t-shirts all the time. But like you said, just if that's where you're going, you want to look, because in a place like, let's just use that as an example again, the peninsula, if you're dressed well, then you will look good in that place. And that's something to help your date along. If you like
but then don't come over with too much sequins and all that, so flashy. I think a safe dress is a nice plain classic black dress.
Mm-hmm. We have a question here from one of our viewers, Pam. She said, what is your kind of romantic date, Eric? What do you expect from her attire, her hair, and makeup?
Oh, well, okay. What I was going to say is don't wear fins. I got a problem with fins.
What?
Fins?
What the fins are. What the fins? But you said anyway, never mind. But I'm the opposite of some guys. I'm not big into the super sexy, people wearing Marilyn Craig lipstick. That's not my thing. Usually I'm more of a downplay, like, going light. I'm more interested in what comes out of the mouth as opposed to what is the persona a lot of times. Although, it's important. And as far as the hair goes, I don't know. It depends on how good my hair is.
Do you think guys pay a lot of attention to the hair of girls?
I guess, I'm sitting here thinking about that now, like, because I was about to say, no, we don't pay attention. And I'm thinking about it. I do sometimes. Actually, we do. So I get, as long as it's clean. I mean, you don't want to show up with your hair like not clean and it's kind of all messed up. I mean, not unwashed, but like, clean. I mean, Marlon knows exactly what I'm talking about. We've done shows in the past. Marlon came to the show and I'm like, Marlon, did you just wake up?
Yeah, and also don't forget to wear a decent perfume, not that over-fluttering perfume.
I was waiting for the smell issue.
The smell.
Because Marlon's big on the smells. And it's true for both sides in that. If you're a woman, there's certain smells that a guy is not going to like. And with a guy, well, we have a lot of smells that people don't like. But it's true. I mean, the smell is a big thing, whether you're consciously or unconsciously thinking about it.
Yeah. And I think also, like, when you're on, like, first dates and stuff, like, your attire, what you wear can already speak a lot about your personality, what type of person you are. And, like, the way you carry your attire, I think, is very important, especially on first dates. I feel like it speaks a lot.
But then again, guys, don't judge us on the first date. We might have worn or borrowed somebody's clothes because we were out with a friends.
The other night, you think?
No, we were you were sleeping over with a girlfriend's house and say, oh my gosh, I have a date. He said he's taking me to dinner. I said, okay, I'll lend you. And then we might end up wearing clothes that's not us. And sometimes maybe we didn't bring our own makeups and our own hair dry and rollers to make us look good. But
only Marilyn Craig would go down this path.
I know, right? That's so specific. Like, what? What is the scenario?
Called up for the dinner, and then we didn't have any clothes, but she had some clothes, but she was a little bit smaller than me, and I was a little bit bigger than her, so I put the clothes on.
Explains to her first date.
Yeah, because sometimes maybe you'll say, oh my God, why is he wearing these tight clothes? Maybe I just forced it just to please you to be on that date.
All right. So how many dates till you can judge a person's attire?
Well, at least, second date, third date.
Okay. Based on Marilyn Craig, 3 dates till you can judge how a person dresses.
Let me just make one more thing. Wait till at least the third date before you question what they're wearing.
Correct.
especially guys. Because guys, we're not that bright anyway. So if you show up and you go, really, that's what you're wearing with me? That's what, maybe you should get some looser jeans. Those are a little tight, or worse yet, those jeans are a little loose. You should get some tight. Wait till about the third date before you try and start him as a project. You start doing your project starting on the guy, on how you're going to fix him to make him what you want. Wait till at least number 3.
Yeah. I like guys who are in white polo, long sleeve polo, just plain white, cotton, and then maybe jeans.
But what about this? Do you think you should really be dressing for the other person? Shouldn't you be dressing for yourself and just look for a person who accepts how you dress?
Yeah, I dress for my confidence.
Yeah, because Marlon is now talking about what the material needs to be made of the shirt that he's going to wear. It needs to be cotton, maybe 11, maybe 12% polyester. I don't know. So, yeah, that's a bit specific, but okay. Boy, we have really gone
because
down.
there's certain cheap type of polyester type. Oh, anyways, okay. So I think the best is for your attire, guys and girls, have use classic, simple cuts of black plain clothes, black or navy blue, a plain red.
Actually, I don't think anyone should listen to Marilyn at all. Just and new, because new on guys always looks good. Even if it's a $350 knockoff shirt from Divisoria, when it's new, it looks good. So
it's all about cleanliness or everything looking
clean,
sharp. I think
yes, looking clean and smelling clean. All right. Don't forget that.
Yeah, you gotta smell it, which is why I love Zoom meetings so much.
Okay, so number 2, curb your sex expectations. Oh, before you answer that, Eric.
So fast right away. Wow.
Let's read fans. Say, whoa, please don't make it look like you're going to Christmas. Yes, that's why go on plain colors. Don't go on red ribbon and then green dress.
Like always in the middle of June, I wear my best Santa shirt.
And then, Eric, you feel like fancying woman beyond makeups and beyond red lipsticks or high heels.
Yeah, Eric's more of the person than the outfit.
You're right.
The problem I have with high heels is they're just a little dangerous. That's the problem I have. I'm always worried, I'm going to get a hole through my foot or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Step on you, especially on the dance floor. All righty.
You don't get a good judge of the height with heels. So wow, look at her. She's beautiful. And then you get her home and you're like, wow, you're really short. You're much different looking before, but now you've gotten off your stilts. Anyway.
Yeah, especially they come now in 8 inches.
8 inches. I want to see Marilyn Craig in 8-inch heels. That would
no,
be
I can't. I can't walk on it. Maybe I can go on 5. Anyway, what can you say about curb your expectations?
Okay, now what does that mean?
Explain to Zoe.
The word that is. One thing I can just say about sex expectations. First thing, all guys have them. We all have them. And if you take a girl out and she thinks she's getting a free dinner, dinners are not really free on a date. There's always going to be something to pay later. So just, as long as the woman understands that, if he takes you to a place and you get the salad, okay, might be there's a first base. But if he takes you to a place and you get the lobster and the steak, then there's a chance it's going to be a third base expectation based on, the order that you've made. So, what I'm just saying is, we guys, we all, okay, every guy, what do we went on a first date. The only thing in your mind is, when are we going to get to bed? When, that's how many dinners am I going to have to buy in order to get to the last, to the dessert. So, guys need to sometimes chill out on that a little bit. It's much better if, believe me, it's much better. You're going to want it much more when it's taken some time to get to the final chapter.
I like that because in relationship management, they say, of course, the first part is attraction. It's nice to be attracted, but then there's the connection to get to know each other. And dating is all about connecting with that person, getting to know. So jumping into bed after the first date or during the first attraction date is a no-no, because you might wake up and even from a drunken night and say, who are you? How did you get here?
Yeah,
I can tell us this from experience.
I feel like
Eric, did it ever happen to you, Eric?
Is that a joke? Anyway.
But like, I feel like it's like, what are your intentions when you're dating? Like, I feel like if your intentions is to hook up, then it's out there. But if your intentions is like, maybe you actually want to get to know this person more, then I think boys would be more patient, right? To wait for it.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be dates where you're going to go on the date and your main goal is to, I think Zoe called it hook up. What did we call it when we were kids? Okay.
Butchie dinner.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going on the date, and that's your main reason for going on the date. And then there's the dates where you go on where you really like this girl and you want this to, last a while. And yeah, you may end up on the first date. You may end up, in the hotel room. But I think what I would suggest is before you even go into the date, back it up a little bit and say, okay, listen, if it doesn't happen tonight, it's okay. Just be funny and don't, leave tags on your shirts and try and have a good conversation and find like something, cohesion between the two of you. It's the same thing with a woman. Women go out on dates sometimes just to have sex, or they're looking for, money, or, we have to say that, I guess, because there are gold diggers, and I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit. They're out on a date for a reason. They're there for a reason. But what I'm hoping that we're going to be talking about today are not, we'll talk about those, the gold diggers and the guys who need the sex expectations, and the in-betweens, the tweens where you're trying to find like a long-term relationship.
Yeah. So we're talking about a decent future relationship. That's why you're dating that girl. But again, there are always some exception to the rules. If both of them like it and the attraction is too strong and there's really, really strong attraction for liking each other, it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, just ask Marilyn.
So it all depends on your intention.
So I guess it's all right. It's perfectly normal to have expectations, or whatever term you call them, sex expectations. But like, as long as you don't make that the focus of the entire night, that if it doesn't happen, it's a bad date, everything's ruined, and you forget about the person you're trying to get to know, right?
Correct.
I think that's what it means by curbing your sex expectations. Like, it's okay to have them, but if it doesn't happen, don't make it ruin the potential relationship.
Yeah, this reminds me of a show I was watching recently. I think it was called Fargo. I don't remember. It was a really good show. And this woman is out on a date with this young guy, and she's a bit older. She's like in her 40s, and he's like a young, 30-something-year-old. And he's just talking and saying how great and wonderful he is, whatever. And she's like, yeah, okay. And then he just stops in the middle and he goes, I'm not getting none tonight, am I? And she goes, nope. And he goes, okay, check.
Yeah. Okay. So again, women, try not to seduce the men during the date if you don't want sex expectation.
Why would you say that, Marilyn? I want the woman to seduce him during the date. Of course, it's the other way around. You should be saying that to the woman. Don't let the guys seduce you into getting into bed on the first date. I think. I mean, guys are fine with anything. They're like, hey, first date, fine. Second date, fine. Third date, anytime. But women, I think it's different. I think it's different for women. I think if you want to keep the guy for a long time, you make him wait just a little bit longer. Not forever, but just a little bit longer. And if you're 60 years old and you're out on a date with an 18-year-old, guess what? She's looking for your gold. I don't know how else to say it. what I would suggest a lot of times is if you're a guy who's 60, find a woman that's got some gold already, who's already got a little bit of something, a little gold or a little bit of life in her. And that's going to be more of, we're not like so much going to be assuming that sex is going to be part of the first date. I don't know if does that make any sense to anybody?
What do you think, Zoe? That's a good one. All right. So, so much for that. So try not to expect guys or girls because the first date is supposed to be just a connecting day. To connect with him, to get to know him a little bit, as much as you can. It's a time to converse with each other, getting to know. Okay. How about choose first date activities wisely?
So I think this is where you actually need to think about it. Like if a guy wants to hook up, if it's in my generation, if a guy's goal is to hook up, his first date would be to take you out to a party or to take you out in the club. So there, if that's the first date he's taking to you, that does imply what he wants to do later on. So I think your first date activity is important in showing what you imply in the relationship. I don't know. That's my opinion. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, well, when you go to a club, especially in the Philippines, you go to a disco or something, there's two things you do at the club. You drink and then you stare at each other because you can't hear what the other person's saying. So you just sit there and, you either text each other because you can't hear what anybody's saying. So, I mean, that young people don't seem to mind. They don't seem to mind going to these clubs where boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, and all you can hear is the music. And then what? Because you don't want to say what all night. That's why I do say what all night. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of times if he takes you to that place and you're going dancing, you're getting a little drunk, and there's a chance, when it's all said and done, he's in the car, and that's where you end up. Whereas, we're talking about going, if he takes you to, Kentucky Fried Chicken or KFC, you're sitting there, you're having chicken, you're talking, but, KFC does not say sex later. It says, let's, have a conversation.
Actual conversation and dinner.
But the same thing with taking somebody to the movies. I mean, you take them to the movies. It's nice, but if, here again, you're not going to talk.
Sure.
I mean, it's all about, and also it's going to be what kind of movie you're taking her to, because that if a guy takes you to a movie where people are getting their heads chopped off, he's not really, he's taking, because that's what he wants to go to. But if he takes
that's so romantic, isn't it?
A romance movie, there's a possibility that he's trying to get you in the mood for something later, but he doesn't want to talk to you, but he wants to get you in the mood. So anyway, that's a thought.
Yeah, I think that's true. Some dates you have to think about. Like if it's a movie date, it means he considered you're not going to get to know each other that well during the movie. Like a dinner date or a lunch date. Like I think even if it's a lunch date versus a dinner date, right? It also implies different things, right? If it's a lunch date, it's like, are you going to spend the whole day together to get to that part? Or
yeah, I never understood, dinner in a movie. Dinner in a movie, I don't want to go to the movie once I've had, if I'm talking to somebody and then all of a sudden now I'm not talking to them. I mean, I guess when you're young and you have nothing to say, it's great. Movie's great. Then you can put your arm around her and there's a chance of touching fingers and there's a chance of eating the same popcorn. And it's great and wonderful. You're 17, 18 years old. It's perfect because even at dinner, you don't have anything to say anyway. And the guy, especially guys, we have nothing to say when we're 16. So yeah, I mean, it's fine for that. And your parents are standing in the back as your shepherd. But now, when we're getting up to, older kids, yeah, it's a lot about like what you say. And, you go to movies later on. In fact, usually when you get older, Netflix is just fine. And Netflix is great because then you have her in the bed while you're watching.
With some nice wine and little drinks.
Popcorn, you need wine and cheese.
But if you invite me to a Netflix in your home and especially in your room, then more or less, girls, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we have a term for that in my generation. We call it Netflix and chill. So if he invites you to Netflix and chill, you know.
They already have coined a term.
You know, if you're doing a Netflix and chill, that's not watching at all. You won't be watching in that day.
How hilarious is that?
So beware, girls. All right. I mean, it tells you already, you know, invites you home. That's already even not in the bed. There's already something might happen in there.
But okay, so what if it's your first date and Pam's asking here, what if you know that you're on the wrong date, like she's not the one for you or you don't like the person? What do you do in that situation? Do you immediately end the date or do you keep going?
You know, there is one thing that will get you out of every single date, no matter what it is. If it's a bad date or whatever, just say, you know, I had some Mexican food earlier and I think I'm having diarrhea. That'll get you out of every situation.
So that's your fail safe. I had Mexican food. I have to go.
You know what I would do?
I gotta get home.
You know what I would do? I would tell my girlfriend, okay, call me 3 times in a row and it's going to be on vibration. So it will vibrate 3 times in a row. That means if I don't answer you in the 3rd or 4th, that means my date is not good. So you better text and say, hey, emergency, you come home. There's something that happened.
Guys are never fooled by that, by the way. Any movies that come to me. I mean, you know, there's things that women can do to get out of when you got a guy that you know, he's got high expectations. You know, he wants this. You know that you've just ordered the lobster and you're like, oh no, I'm going to have to put out something on this date. Somehow you have like a headache because it is that time of the month. That is the for every girl to get out of, because guys don't want to go
out of sex.
They don't
sorry, I have my period.
They don't want to hear that word. They just, if you just allude to it, because you don't want to lie. You don't want to lie because if you lie, if you get caught, then you look like an idiot. But you just allude to something. And so that's why I think if you're trying, you know, if you realize that it's no good, or you can just say it, which is, you know, I hate to say that because it's so horrible for who the other person is to say, hey, you know what? You're great. You're wonderful for somebody else.
Not me. I'm sorry, this isn't working. I have to go.
No, I mean, if it's just dinner, finish the dinner at least and say, hey, thank you for the dinner, but yes, I have to go.
Be polite. Be polite. There's no reason to be rude.
I think one way if you can be direct is to just be nice about it. You don't have to personally attack the person.
How are you gonna be so nice? Like, say
like,
example.
Maybe like if you're in a dating contract, you can be like, it was nice knowing you, but I feel like I don't feel a connection here, so I don't think there's a point to continue the date.
It's not you, it's me.
I don't feel a connection. See, don't attack the guy, right? They say never put blame on others. You're the one not feeling it, right?
Yeah, but finish the dinner, please. Say, hey, thanks for the dinner, but
yeah, don't be rude.
I have to go. I owe you one. So that means maybe invite him for a dinner one day.
Thinking about, you know, experimenting with lesbianism. There's all kinds of things.
All kinds of excuses.
But I mean, honestly, though, the best thing that you can say for a guy to not make him mad, because, you know, you definitely don't want a guy, you don't want to be on a date and the guy get mad. And so, you know, don't make up some stupid, ridiculous excuse like what Marilyn is talking about just now. Don't make up some ridiculous excuse and then you make him mad. Because some guys, you know, they get mad and then he's not going to like you. And then you don't know what he's going to do later. You know, there's all kinds of crazy people that you know do Facebook stuff because they're getting revenge, because they're mad because you ate, you know, a piece of, you know, a lobster and the steak, and then you know, you told them. So there's a way of doing it and not be rude and be nice, and so you end up like laughing and being okay and shaking hands and being okay, you know, great when you're done, and then you never have to talk to him again, and then he'll feel okay about himself. But if you make a guy feel bad about himself, or you make a girl feel horrible about who she is, whatever, it's just not worth it. It's just, you know, it's not nice and it's not cool. And so that, you know, come up with something that is going to make them feel okay about themselves in the end.
Yeah. And like, if ever, I mean, there will be some instances that not only girls, but maybe guys will feel unsafe during the date. And I feel like what you can do is just excuse yourself to the restroom, ask help from the manager of the restaurant or the waiter or whatever. Because like, if any moment you feel unsafe, like you think this person is violent or aggressive, then I think it's fine to just leave if ever this person seems violent and aggressive. Because I had some friends who have like dated guys who seemed very rude and like very angry, and she was scared. So she just told the waiter that she was uncomfortable, and then she helped him leave the restaurant. He helped her leave the restaurant.
Usually those type of guys, you can spot them before the date, before you actually go out on the date. You can kind of tell when a guy is a little weird, a little strange, or something's not quite right about this guy. But he's, the only problem that he has is if he's really good looking, Marilyn will go out with him anyway. Yeah. And then she's stuck there having to do the 3 vibrates in the pocket thing, and then trying to figure out how much was it the 4th vibrate that she's supposed to call me and tell me that like I'm not. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be, everybody's going to have that experience. We're all going to have. There's going to be a time where you're going to be older and you're going to go, I remember back when I had this one day with this guy, and oh my God, he was insane. So,
so just be a little bit honest
and
polite and diplomatic.
And so again, when we're talking about phones, they did say like one of the unspoken rules is to keep your phone on silent and vibration, because you're on a date. You're not there to text or call someone else with this person trying to get to know you, right? Like, I feel like that's very rude. Like, if I go on a date and the guy is just on his phone the whole time, I'd be like, well, what's the point of us going out, right?
So one time is okay, but second, third time not okay to answer the phone, right?
I mean, okay, yeah. If you have to answer the phone, you give them a break. Okay, you got to answer the phone. But like, for instance, I was out with somebody, I remember this before, and they're on their phone, like the entire, they're on the phone. And I'm just talking, because I talk too much anyway. So I'm just talking, telling about, whatever, trying to get a reaction out of them. And they just keep staring at the phone. And finally I said, is it an important message? Are you having to text somebody? And she looked up at me and she said, no. And then she looked back down at the phone.
Oh.
If you're not texting, what are you, just watching YouTube?
I think one of the coaches say that you can maybe excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, answer that one call first time because it might be urgent, or you ahead of time tell your date that hey, you don't mind if I would answer the phone this one time if my boss can call anytime. I waited before this time, but he hasn't called. So just in case he calls, please excuse me.
Just be careful. Just be careful with that. If you keep going to the bathroom to answer the phone.
Oh no, one only.
Diarrhea thing is going on, and then he's going to.
Yeah, I think it's permissible to do one time. Excuse yourself, and then go answer the phone. Especially if it keeps on vibrating in your pocket.
Just don't text through the whole dinner. I mean, it's just the worst thing when you're trying to talk to somebody and they keep texting, because then it's obvious that the text is way more important than you. So that's why I told that story about the girl. I said, what are you texting? She's like, no. And what are you playing a game?
So no cell phones, or put it on silent.
And some people, and I have to say this too, and Zoe knows exactly what I'm talking about. Some people just stare at their phone all the time.
Yeah,
they used to do it all the time. And so when they're especially when they get nervous, they just start staring at their phone.
Oh, trust me. I have like this best friend of mine. He's always on his phone, like everywhere. Like we'd be walking from school, going back to our condos. He'd still be on his phone. I'm like, dude, look at the road when you're crossing. He's like, oh, what? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it'd be so hard to talk to him. I'd be talking to him about school. I'd be like, do you hear me? Carl, do you hear me? Hello? And then he was like, what? I'm like, get off your phone, please. There are some people like that.
So anyway, as for me, I wouldn't like a guy wwho would be on his phone 2 to 3 times.
I mean, Instagram can wait. Like, I mean, we're here to talk. Let's
Right.
So yeah, so more like so dating now, like especially for you guys at your age, I guess. When you're dating someone, are you guys do you guys automatically assume that you're just dating that person? Or do you still think that okay, it's pretty open. We haven't determined the relationship yet.
So Zoe wants to say communicate exclusivity. How?
Yeah. Okay. Here's how you, on the first couple of dates, here's how you approach exclusivity. Don't.
Don't.
Don't even mention it because it just, it's not time yet to take, because if he's into you, he's not into somebody else. If he's kind of into you, okay, he's got some other girls on the side, but we're not that point yet to say, okay, listen, and if you ask him, I mean, and I have to say, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but all guys are going to lie on the first date. We all lie. I mean, even if we don't mean to, we're still going to lie. It's just, oh, well, do you have a lot of girls out there? Oh, no, I haven't had a girl in years. Okay, that's a lie. Whoever, just so you know. But we expect that. I mean, we're all going to lie a little bit on the first date. To be exclusive with somebody, you'll know in, 4 or 5 or 6 dates, or unless you're dating an ugly guy. If you're dating an ugly guy, yeah, he's going to be exclusive with you because he doesn't.
So
but in general, I wouldn't bring it up at all.
Eric, you'd be surprised how many beautiful girls some guys can get. Even it's all about confidence.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I know some gorgeous women who are with the ugliest guys because of the way they carry themselves. That's a subject we can talk about for a whole hour. But as far as this, you don't want to say, okay, listen, I don't want you dating anybody else, because we're just dating. Listen, we're on the first date, babe. Just relax. If I like you, I'm not going to want anybody else. I'm not going to want to go out with anybody else. I'm going to be, if you want to know where I'm at 8:00, you know where I'm going to be at 8:00. If I like you, I'm going to be messaging you from home.
Exactly. I feel like when you assume exclusive or you want to talk about it on the first date, that's kind of a little bit weird because like you're dating, you're getting to know each other. There's nothing yet that sets that you are only seeing each other. And the only way to find out is to talk about it later on. Like not now, first date, but later on when you feel like, that's right. You'll know when it feels like you're the only one he's dating. But you shouldn't assume it. I think you have to always talk it, right?
When you bring a new puppy home on the first day, he's your dog. That's your dog. You have to be in a relationship with me. But this is different. Because when I am your owner, when I bring you home to my house, I put the dog food in the dish. I am your owner. You are my slave, or you're my dog or my pet or whatever. So, but that's not the same case when it comes to dating. When you take them out on the first date, you can't be the owner. If you act like the owner, like right away, like I own you now. We are on the first date. I just bought you a lobster and a steak and a pineapple shake. So I am now, we are exclusive. But if you do that, then that may make them leave. It may make them not like that. That'll push them farther away. So you just got to chill. What's the word you used a little bit ago? You got to chill a little bit on that exclusive thing. But you'll know it'll just happen on its own. It's a natural thing.
Yeah. And if you're unsure about it, I feel like when you're ready, you can talk about it, right? You can ask.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to know.
Yeah. And you can talk about it. Once you get to that point, and then it's easy to talk about because then you're like, yes.
Don't ask on the second, third date. It should be the man who asks. But, the dating again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is only the second stage, which is connecting, getting to know each other, and then getting acquainted with each other to know him a little bit more.
Don't bring jealousy into the mix right away.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a picture of you on Facebook. I was watching.
Exactly.
And you're with another guy. I thought we were exclusive. And she's like, I just met you last week. Okay, but you can't be seeing that guy anymore. Like
exactly. Like one of
the picture. What does that mean? Don't bring the jealousy in right away. Like, give it some time to build up.
Exactly. Like they did say here, one of the unspoken rules of dating is don't admit to Facebook stalking. Never show. Like you can stalk. I mean, everybody stalks the person, obviously. I'm sure you've stalked the person you've dated on Facebook. Everyone does it. You want to know about this person. If you want to date them, you want to see what are their photos like? What is he into? But don't talk about like, oh, I saw your post in 2016. You were in a Halloween party dressed as a cat. That was so cute.
Oh, wow.
Cute becomes creepy real fast.
There's only one reason why we look at the person that we're dating. The only reason why we ever look at their Facebook page is we want to see what the last boyfriend looked like. That's why.
Oh, really?
That's how he looks like. Is he better looking than me? Is he muscular? Whatever. And it's the same way with the girl. The girl's going on seeing like, who is he seeing now? When was that picture taken with that girl? And who is? And like, you go on and the first thing you do is you see her on her Facebook holding a baby. That her baby? Or is that, this so a lot of things you can get from Facebook and we all do it. That's why you need to be careful about what you post on Facebook.
What you like. You have to be careful what you like also. You might accidentally like a photo from 2012 or something.
Yeah, because she's looking at the comments from every person that has put, who's looked at your picture and the comments that they put. And if you have a girl on your Facebook, it says, hey, you look sexy today, Eric. She's going to zero in on that comment. And then that's going to be in the filing cabinet for later. So, yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, we all stalk everybody on Facebook. It's just human nature. It's the way of the future. Just don't tell them you're stalking.
Exactly. And I think you have to also hold your horses on the whole social media thing. I don't think you have to add them on Facebook right after the first date. I mean, like,
that is
depends.
That is dangerous stuff.
Yes.
You don't want to show up on their feed just yet.
Yeah. You don't want to show up on the feed just yet. And you don't want them seeing the private stuff yet. Public stuff, okay, fine. And being on Messenger is fine. But to make them friends right away, because now they're going to do the crossover. Now, if it turns out to be somebody that you don't really like, and now all of a sudden he's friending people that are your friends, and now there's the crossover, and now he's talking to people that that you don't want him talking to yet.
Exactly. So I feel like you should be like, it's a different case that if you knew him as a friend first, right? I mean, that's a totally different case.
Yeah, that's a different thing. That's a whole different thing.
But like if you're like on a blind date, just met each other, first date, getting to know each other, adding might be too fast.
Yeah.
This is the kind of guy like that Marilyn found online.
Don't add them to your Facebook that fast.
And also, just let me say one other thing, and you guys can agree or disagree. If you're on a date and you take a picture of both of you, don't post it that day. Wait a while before you start posting pictures of you guys together. Because if of you guys together and then something goes wrong a couple weeks later, then you have to take the picture down, and you take the picture down, and then that person is mad for whatever reason because they wanted to date you, but you didn't want to date them. And so now you've created controversy, and now they want to message your friends and ask where you are and are you dating someone else? And then, the next.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next point, remember what the point of the date is.
Yeah, I guess this is one thing that we have to remind ourselves, like, one date doesn't mean he's your future husband already or your future wife. Like, remember that a point of the date is to have fun and to get to know each other, right?
Yes.
Like it's not supposed to be all that stressful. You shouldn't be worrying too much about how you look. I mean, it's okay to worry about how you look, how you dress, how you smell, but like, don't stress out too much.
What's the baby's name gonna be? Is it gonna?
Don't be like, oh, I've already dotted the I's on our wedding certificate or something. Like, no, enjoy it. And I think also the important part is to not string them along. Like, like when you feel like their relationship isn't going anywhere, don't keep him up, don't keep his hopes up or keep her hopes up. I think it's important to let them know that it's not going anywhere.
And that is a problem in, should I say the Philippines? I probably shouldn't say the Philippines because it's stereotypes of saying what people want to hear, saying something that that they want to hear, but it's not exactly true. And sometimes in relationships, you end up getting, farther and farther and farther along, and you didn't want to go to that, you didn't want to go all the way to the next town. You wanted to stay in your town. And now all of a sudden, because you keep being nice to him and saying, yeah, oh, that's great, whatever. Now all of a sudden you've moved on to the next town, and now you're like, in the next, I don't know what I'm trying to put the analogies here, but anyway, but yeah, sometimes stringing along can get you in a lot of trouble with some guys. So I think that's a big thing, is if you know for sure that there's never going to be a ring, there's never going to be a baby, there's never going to be
forever.
Be friends. When you say, I really want to be friends, guys will respect that. But if you make him feel like crap, then he's going to be mad at you. And then you don't want that. You don't want something like that.
That's true. I mean, like, I think for me, like, I've had guys trying to go on dates with me and stuff, and I'm always super nice to guys, and they always get me, like, they always get the wrong idea that when I'm nice to them, it means that I like them. So I'm always really upfront. I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I only see you as a friend. Like, when I notice that they're being, like, when I feel like they're expecting something, I say, I want to be clear, I have a boyfriend, and I only want to be friends with you. If you expect more from me, I'm sorry, that's not what I'm expecting from this. I only want friendship. And then that's when I know that they were expecting something else, because then they don't message me anymore. And I was like, ha, so you were only there to get to be in a relationship with me, not to be my friend.
But that's why, for me, I never really date guys that I really don't like. If I really date on a guy, it must be something like over head heels.
Because I only date women that I don't like. That just seems to be the way that I only date the most toxic, women that you could possibly never stay with forever. That's my exclusive. That's who I date the most. So yeah.
Some boys have a type, some guys like them very bossy.
Back at the past. But anyway, yeah, I mean,
before you go on a date, there should be certain attraction already,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but yeah, and then I guess moving on to other unspoken rules is not always bringing up the past, and don't let the past stop you from having a future. You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes, like, I hear this in some of my friends, like, they tend to bring up their exes in our relationship, and I think nobody new wants to hear about your ex. Like, whether it's a guy talking about his ex or a girl talking about her ex, nobody wants to hear about your past.
But not unless girls are like asking, how many girlfriends you had? Do you ever had any girlfriends?
Setting him up for a lie. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, he's not going to tell you the truth.
How many girls he's had?
Right?
As far as that thing about the past, yeah, okay. If you're at a date, whatever, you get the ex's stories out right away and get them over with, and don't talk about it again. Because yeah, he's going to want to know about your ex. She's going to want to know about your ex. You get it done, and then they go, "Oh wow, that person was horrible. Yeah, oh God, so glad that you got out of that thing." And then you're done with it. The only thing, the problem is that some, I know girls especially, they love to keep bringing it up. Well, you remember my ex did this and my ex did that. And, and eventually when somebody keeps doing that all the time, I said, you know what, your ex starting to sound pretty good, but you're starting to not look so great. So, but yeah, I mean, it's exactly true. You're going to have to talk about your ex. You're going to have to, because they're going to ask and they're going to want to know. So for 2 minutes, get it all out there. This is what happened. This is what we did. And this is why we broke up. And then.
Yeah. And I feel like don't let your past experience stop you from a new relationship, because maybe sometimes you feel like every girl, I hear this line all the time, like all men are the same, but like not real.
Generalization.
Like it's always a new relationship. Like don't think that he's the same person as your ex.
Okay, silence is golden. We have to hurry up.
Yeah. You
don't have to tell him, hey, here are the unspoken rules. You're not supposed to do that.
I mean, everybody knows already what the unspoken rules are. And then I guess also like an expectation is you can't fully expect the guy to pay for everything, especially now. Like in my generation, it's like girls and guys on the first date, unless the guy offers, you're expected to also pay your half of the meal. Not unless it's the guy who invited you. No, in our generation, it's Usually we split up the bill.
Marilyn Craig is never going to pay.
No way. If a man invites me, my time is precious.
Well, in my generation is you're not so sure because maybe on the first date he'll pay for it, but like eventually, like as you continue dating, it's half. Dutch pay.
No, culturally in our olden time. In my
Maybe your
generation.
age, but I'm telling you my age.
Yeah. Okay. What a difference, huh?
I mean,
Depends also in the relationship. Maybe the guy is like very, maybe he wants to spoil you. Maybe he'll pay for everything, but don't expect it. Is what I'm trying to say. It's like always have extra cash in case he's frugal. You know,
Or he ran out of money. He cannot pay for the dessert.
you never know. You might end up in a date and you'll be like, "You thought I'm paying for your lobster?"
oh, you're paying, yeah, like I said before, if you're a guy and you're my age and you're dating an 18-year-old, yeah, you're going to have to pay for everything. So that's why I say, if you're going to go out on a date with somebody and you're worried about that, find a girl that's got some gold. So, it's not just like that. That's what we're dating for. We're dating because she needs money and I need a young girl. No, you're dating because you want to find somebody. And if you want to find somebody, then you're both going to have a little bit of gold.
Yeah. Anyway, in summary, because we don't have the time, we must have a part 2 of this. Come again next week.
Yeah,
Because we're going to talk about the dating tips for women. So, but the best advice is be yourself.
At the end,
Or as I say,
at the end, be yourself.
Exactly. I feel like, you know what? You're dating to get to know each other, and if you're someone else and he turns out he doesn't like who you were anyway, it's just going to be a disaster. So just show who you are up front, but maybe the best attributes of who you are on the first date, of course. And yeah, I feel like we have much more to talk about. We can continue this next Saturday. Thank you guys for spending your lunchtime with us. It's been great. I enjoyed.
Eric, thank you again. Are you coming next Saturday again?
As always, ask me on Friday evening, and then
because there's a part 2 on this. Thank you, everyone. Winnie Ching, Pampasyon, and everybody who has buen dia. Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye, Eric. Thank you.
Everyone.
The views and comments